Welcome back, everyone. It is Ryan with Sticker Status here, and today we're going to be showing you how to add a custom stripe to a hood to make something that looks like this into something that looks like that.
All right, so first things, we're gonna have to remove these windshield sprayers just because those are kind of a pain in the butt. I've seen a lot of people try and cut around them. Even when I first started wrapping, I tried to cut around them, and especially on white when you go on black, realistically any color, there's always a little paint reveal around those and it just doesn't look the best. So to do that, you'll pop the hood and there's always this little cover inside here. It's just a heat shield. There's a bunch of pins already. I've already started taking them out. Basically, just get you a pry tool, pop them out. Then you can remove this whole heat shield. And to remove these sprayers, use caution, especially if it's something older. These tend to get brittle. So you basically just want to pull this hose off of each side. Don't wiggle it. I've seen a lot of them get broken that way. If you just put firm tension on it, it pops itself out. And you can take a flathead screwdriver. I like a broadhead. You can, I don't know if you'll be able to catch this on camera, probably not. There's tabs in here. It basically sits like this, and then there's a tab here and a tab here that just expand when it's pushed through. So all you want to do is find that tab, push down and out with the flathead. In doing so, you'll get one side that pops up. Usually you can wrestle these out, might have to pop the bottom side. So again, same thing, there's just a little clip here on the bottom. So as you can see, these are the clips. You just need to push it in enough to get it past the metal of the hood. Upon taking those out, it's nice and flat. You can wrap right over that, cut it out, reinstall, and it looks factory. So there's one other piece that I'm going to take off of here, and it's just this rubber gasket that seals up to the grill. I'm going to take it off just so that I can tuck in here a little bit farther with my black piece that's going on. If you don't, you just chance getting all of this dirt and debris in here. No matter how many times you wipe this piece of rubber, it'll always stay dirty. Same concept here. Just go through and pop all these pins out. You're gonna try not to break these. If you do, a good thing to have is you can get a kit full of a bunch of different clips. They come with like door panel clips and standard clips like this, but you can get a giant case of those on Amazon. Nice thing to have on hand. Some of these get brittle and won't ever make it to see another day. Get this cleaned up and then check back shortly and I'll show you how to do the knifeless tape. So now that I've got the hood cleaned, and you can see that there's a couple of paint blemishes and things of that nature, which might be why the customer wants to do this. I'm going to use knifeless tape. There's 3 different kinds. This one is Design Line, which is designed for doing more custom, anything with contours and things of that, you know, that might take more than just a straight line. They have Finish Line, which has a Kevlar based string in it. It's better for doing straight lines. This one has a little bit of a bow to it, so I'm going to use this Design Line. And I also feel like lately 3M's been lacking. This is the only one with a straight string. Finish Line is wonky, so you'll see it in your cuts. And then the third one that I was talking about is PPF knifeless. It's a more of like a metal string on the inside. It's also wonky. So without pulling too hard, because it might potentially pop on you, I'm going to see if I can run this right along my light line. The nice thing is it's sticky, so the adhesive kind of helps grab it without making it slide around. I'm going to do it in one pass and kind of see if I'm happy with it. Check different light angles. Need to come in or out. I think this looks pretty good, but I'm going to come in just a little bit. So I'm going to secure the first little piece because I know that that looks good. I'm going to pop this up just past where you're trying to fix. You can relay this down. following the light line. That I'm way happier with. So if you want to get the camera from this angle maybe. One other thing, you don't ever want to just walk away after you kind of just gradually lay it down. I'll take my finger with real light pressure and kind of lock that in place. If you do use too much pressure, you have a chance of kicking the line out as you're laying it down. And now you can see how that follows the body line. I do notice there's a little area up at the top that it kind of wonks out. So I'll get up there and fix that. You can see right here, it kind of gets a little wonky, rides out a little bit. So take my tail, go past the wonk. From this angle again, go past the wonk and lay her back down. Make sure that you're folding your tape down under the edge. It just gives you, if you lay your vinyl down, you have to reposition it. Gives you less chance of grabbing your tail and screwing your line up. So I'm just gonna do the same thing that we did here on this side. And I'll show you guys how to lay the vinyl and how to use it. So now that we've got our knifeless tape laid out, it's all symmetrical. I've looked at it about every angle that I can and it's catching the light lines the same. We can take our vinyl here. When I'm doing these solo sends, on a little bit bigger of a piece, I like to roll it up. Then I'll start like the first 2 inches of the roll. Roll the backing onto itself so I have somewhere to grab. I'm gonna go about 1 inch over the hood. I'm gonna temporarily lock that in. Take all the backing off. Cut my extra off the front here. A little easier to manage. So I'm going to try and just give this a little cold stretch. I'm going to lift this up without really lifting it all the way up or making any quick movements. Avoid as much contamination as we can. And so I'm just pulling towards me, but in a triangle. So if you could draw an imaginary triangle this way, I'm pulling the tension out the sides and towards me. That way it's going to help alleviate some of all this bunched up material here. If the hood was a Super Duty that came down, we'd probably want to reposition this. So once I get that hood situated, I'm trying to glass this. I'm basically pulling out any wrinkles like this out of it. A lot of times people will just grab their squeegee and try and bulldoze through those. You risk creasing the film and getting marks and Mars in there that won't come out with heat. So if you just do a small pull to the side on each side, you can work all these out and get it basically laying completely flat before you even put a squeegee to it. So again, with my triangle motion, this is why I just temporarily tack this. Lift up on that a little bit. So I'm pulling this way and this way. Tacking it on the sides. So now you can take your squeegee. I like to start in the middle. Work my way out. Paying attention to where your squeegee marks are. I like to do about a 50% overlay. Like you're painting a house. There's that blemish. All the way up. Top's all sealed. Start working your way down toward the front. If you don't pay attention to your strokes and where you're going, sometimes you'll, kind of leave bubbles. So when you go back and you start looking, you're like, oh man, now I've got bubbles trapped in here. It's kind of a poor example. But I'll catch these bubbles. Luckily 3M material is pretty good about releasing air that may be trapped. So if you do catch one of these, your body temperature is about 98 degrees. If you just put light pressure on here without rubbing or really forcing it, your body temperature will kind of heat these out without the need of a heat gun. They aren't always that small if you forget to overlap your squeegee strokes, or sometimes you're using a different product. This is 2080. At times we'll use IJ35, and that's quite a bit stickier and not as easy to use. So a lot of these air bubbles are a lot harder to get out. Pop the front nose. I'm gonna work both sides in to the same spot. When I'm not trying to introduce a bunch of dirt along the whole nose. Run your finger down, your knifeless. So now to start my knifeless, I'm gonna get rid of some of this material. Always lift up. Make sure that your tape's not connected. If you cut your tape, it kind of makes it hard to start it. So when I start this, fold it over on itself, put a good amount of pressure and just a quick pulling motion. For 90 it, quick pulling motion. Once it gets to your edge of your film, you can kind of do the same thing, but hold it to the film. Anytime you stop, you want to put your finger on it to get it started again. Pull straight against the tape, gives it less chance to walk. Ready to strap, and you can just pull these two little tails. I'll put a little bit of down pressure on them and pull them directly out at a 90. Lock that edge in. Pull the tails out. Now going back to the reason that we pulled that rubber gasket off of here. Relieve some of this. You don't need all of this material in here. So I'm going to take and just roll my finger around here a couple of times. If you see anything like this, you can come back and trim that little booger off of there. Take my squeegee once it's around that corner. And I'm just going to go right into this little line, this little channel here. Doing that, you give yourself a nice little line to cut on. Crazy, scary, spooky. Like that. Tuck this up in there. So when you get to the back side, same thing, take your thumb and just roll this in. You want to roll this in enough to where when the customer's in the driver's seat, they're not going to see a bunch of white showing through. A lot of times guys will do this to help keep the glare off the hood down when they're driving into the sun. Or once you got it all tucked down pretty even in there, take your blade and run the underside. Nice. Take your blade and run the underside here. Keep your hand as steady and straight as possible. When you're cutting away from yourself, don't go outside your reach. The farther outside your normal reach you go, the less control you have over your blade. You risk cutting into the plastics or the paint or getting a nice little gummy cut under there. It always helps if you keep tension on your tail that's already cut. Get out your sprayer holes. Now you can put your sprayers in. I like to post heat this little area before I put in my sprayer. Just make sure that it's not gonna vibrate and, you know, I don't know what you'd call that, chew the material up or bunch it up around here. Similar to what you do on screws before putting screws back into a trailer. Save that for another video. Now that that's all posted, obviously you want to make sure you put them in the right way so they're not spraying down the hood. So once everything is buttoned back up, it's always really important to post heat your material after it's been laid. Most films that we use requires 190 to 200 degrees posted, and you can see when you get to the end of a roll, especially with satin film, there's a lot of marks on here, and I think it's just from transporting the roll up and down and it kind of moving back and forth. But you take your heat gun and kind of slowly just go over these, all the scratching from your squeegee or any marks in the film like this all come out. Be careful when you're post heating anything matte or satin. If you leave the heat gun in one spot for too long, you'll get a gloss spot on there and it doesn't reverse. If you do that, that's a redo.
So I already did calculations. I was already like almost 30 grand under if I would have kept that car. And so taking the truck, I was only.
Okay, so when we put this back on, you just slide it into these little slots, or one on the side and one on the bottom. I guess I should have showed putting the sprayers back in, but you basically just hook your hose back up.
Easy enough.
Take these here pins, start buttoning these back up. Once you have your heat shield aligned, you'll make putting these in. That's why I always start with the top two, because it kind of secures it in spots where I can put these in without fighting it, trying to find the holes. Like that.
So there you have it. Quick and easy tutorial today, how to do custom hood stripes. Also kind of gave you another tutorial on how to use the knifeless tape, but this can be done on pretty much any hood, any custom stripes that need to go on any other type of car, but nice and easy. So like, comment, subscribe, and let us know what other type of videos you want to see. Thanks.